Are there laws to protect us from cyberbullying? Actually, in the state of Missouri, there are. In 2008, Senate Bill 818 became effective. It requires schools to have a written policy to report harassment and stalking to law enforcement if it happens in school. Basically, the law expanded to include electronic communication. There are penalties, criminal penalties, for cyberbullying. A child who has a second offense can be convicted of a felony. They could spend 4 years in jail or spend up to $5,000. As a misdemeanor, your child could spend 1 year in jail or be fined $1,000. Schools have a very special challenge. As parents, we look to them to help support our children and to help them to learn. Most cyberbullying incidents happen off campus because this is where kids have greater unsupervised use of the internet. The harmful impact is being felt at school because this is where students are physically together. Schools are in a bit of an awkward position because they can't control off-campus activity, but they can control if a student is at school. School officials can be held liable under civil rights laws if they have authority to respond to a pervasively hostile school situation but fail to do so. As parents, I think you need to have some really important information about your liability. As parents, when your children engage in intentional wrongdoing, you can be held responsible financially. Parents of minors who engage in intentional torts or wrongdoings can face the potential of personal financial liability, regardless of whether or not you knew. Parents can be sued if their child has engaged in an intentional wrongdoing and you knew or should have known and were negligent in preventing the harm. So if a school contacts you and tells you that your child has been engaging in cyberbullying, that would increase your potential for liability. There are different causes of action that a parent can be sued for their child's behavior. One is called defamation. That means that somebody publishes a false statement about a person that damages his or her reputation. That could easily happen with a social networking site. Invasion of privacy or public disclosure of a private fact is another cause of action, where somebody publicly discloses a private fact about a person under conditions that would be highly offensive to a reasonable person. Invasion of personal privacy or placing somebody in a false light. Publicly disclosing information that places an individual in a false light is against the law. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Someone's intentional actions are outrageous and intolerable and have caused extreme distress. Some of the things that these children are saying to each other online can absolutely cause extreme distress. There are some areas, though, that we need to proceed with caution, because when we're talking about online information, we're also talking about freedom of speech. A lot of speech can be very offensive, but just because it's offensive doesn't mean that it can be restricted. A lot of times we as parents want it restricted, or we want the schools to restrict it. School officials have only the authority to impose discipline for harm caused by off-campus online speech only when that speech has or a reasonable person would anticipate that it would cause a significant impact at school, not just an annoying impact, or it interferes with the rights of a student or students to be secure and or receive an education, or if the information is considered to be a true threat, then schools need to get involved. On behalf of Buddies Not Bullies, I'm asking you to help us build healthy relationships in our community. I'm going to ask for that help in 2 ways. Use your awareness to share information with others. Share our website. Tell other people about our videos. Talk to your children and your grandchildren about bullying and mistreatment. Ask them about bullying at school and online. Listen to what they can tell you, and ask how you can help. Volunteer at your child or your grandchild's school during recess or lunch once a month. This small investment of time will pay huge dividends to let kids know that we as adults are interested in what's going on at school. And finally, if you're interested in getting involved a bit more, we here at Buddies Not Bullies always need folks to help out in our organization. You can find our contact information at the end of this video.